Okay, so this is the second try on the whole Hitler informative speech. The last one was too long. Adolf Hitler was born on April 20th, 1889 in Austria. His hometown was near the border of Austria-Hungary and Germany, so there was a big influence of German customs in his town. His mother, Clara, had already given birth to two children, but they had both died in their infancy, so Adolf Hitler was the oldest, which gave him all the male rights to everything that the family owned. He did have a younger brother, but he only lived to the age of 6. And the only sibling to outlive Hitler was his sister Paula, who actually survived and lived until 1971. He grew up with a poor record at school. He was always thought to be a very smart child, but he never applied himself. The only classes he was good in was science and math. Everything else he just did horrible in. He tried many times, but all times were unsuccessful, to apply for admission into the Vienna Academy of the Fine Arts. He wanted to be a painter and a writer. Hitler's mother passed away from cancer in 1909, so in this year Hitler himself moved to Vienna and hoped to somehow find a source of income. Within a year he was living at homeless shelters and eating at soup kitchens. He had declined to take regular employment and took occasional menial jobs just to help him somehow get up on top and everything. In 1913 he was a homeless man living up and down the streets. At the beginning of the First World War he volunteered to serve in the German army and was accepted. He fought bravely in the war and was promoted to a colonel. He was decorated with the Iron Second Cross and the First Class Second Cross. Excuse me. When he was in the military, he was in an attack which involved chemical warfare. It made him go temporarily blind, meaning he was in the hospital for about 6 months, and during his stay in the hospital, he was told about the end of the war in Europe. When he was released from the hospital, he was allowed to go back into Germany as a full citizen and became a recruiting agent for the army. After 4 years of doing this, he was allowed to become a general in the army until the army pressed treason charges on him, and they said that he was a spy for the Russians and that he was supposed to be exiled. When he was in prison, he got his sentence from exile to 9 years imprisonment, and then he was allowed back into the country. While he was in prison, he only stayed for actually 10 months, and he wrote his book Mein Kampf, which gives his total reasons for why the world was in a depression, and also why Germany is the mother of all children's nations. I think that's how the saying went. In 1933, Hitler goes to take over Germany. He becomes the High Chancellor and then the President. A few years later, he invades Poland and then World War II starts. In 1945, Hitler kills himself in a bunker deep inside of Berlin when the Allies are coming after him. Sorry for the congestion sound, I'm kind of sick.